Hey there, Tekken fans. Welcome back. I'm GeeZus of GeeZus Gaming Podcast. In today's episode, we are a few days later after all the announcements that were pending for Tekken 8 from Bandai Namco. And here we are now to discuss our expectations and hopes for the next entry of the King of Iron Fist tournament. With the franchise history of delivering epic battles and intriguing storylines, what can we expect from the next installment in the King of Iron Fist Tournament 8? Let's get into it. Alright, before we get into Tekken 8 at all, let's take a quick look back at the franchise. Tekken has been a staple in the fighting game community for decades, known for its deep and diverse roster of characters, intricate combat mechanics, and engaging narrative. And who would have thought that one of the most important fighting franchises for Bandai Namco was almost not the case back in the early 90s? The old Namco originally didn't envision Tekken at all. What we know today as Tekken was actually an internal project for Namco to be able to have a test cases for animating 3D character models, and eventually incorporated texture mapping similar to that found in Namco's 1993 racing game Ridge Racer. All that perspective changed in 1994 when Namco welcomed some core members of Sega's Virtua Fighter team, and their arrival was on time when Namco and Sony were already in talks about bringing games to the console that now we know as the PlayStation. And with that, Namco subsequently developed the Namco System 11, the arcade board based on PlayStation hardware, and Tekken as their official answer to Sega's popular Virtua Fighter game. Tekken was initially planned for the Namco System 22 after Namco heard Sega was developing the sequel of Virtua Fighter 2 for their new Sega Model 2 arcade board, before the development of Tekken was later moved to the System 11 after meeting with Sony. While a whole Tekken history revision or recap needs to have this video on its own, I want to highlight that there are 8 main series entry in consoles with 2 tag tournament games as a compilation-like series. Since Tekken 2, and with the notable exception with the 8, all have reached arcade rooms, and mainly the Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection expansion arrived on the PlayStation Portable back in 2006. With that being said, I think that it is safe to go with the graphics and visual. And with this, we can now talk about graphics and visual, and Tekken never disappointed. We can expect Tekken 8 to push the boundaries in terms of graphic quality. Imagine the stunning characters models, realistic animation, and jaw-dropping stages. We are hoping for a true visual spectacle that takes full advantage of the latest gaming hardware. For me, it was always amazing, the rendered background in the early games, and being Tekken 2 the most fun of all the entries of the Tekken series for me. Heck, the game had critics at the time praising the game's lightning sources, fluid character movement, detailed backgrounds, and while there is a debate within friends and family members that Tekken 3 deserved the same treatment, I say that it is more noticeable on Tekken 2, and of course, the nostalgia effect in me. I mean, I got the game owned on the original PlayStation, but whenever I see a Tekken 2 cabinet in an arcade room, in a mall, or any game room, I could spend easily like $2 to $5 just to play some Tekken 2 with random people and just have fun with it. Now, going back to Tekken 8, so far from the previews and revelation for Tekken 8, the game will be based on Unreal Engine 5, so there's no doubt that Namco Bandai will push more boundaries, and it was already said that gamers can expect that not just about having a pretty 4K graphics, but the environments, the character, the details, the depth, and all visually, the whole experience will also be improved. Along that, the game aims to push all platforms, including PC, PlayStation 5, and both Xbox Series S and X. Keep in mind that Bandai Namco has already said that while they are having a great support from Epic Games with the taming of Unreal Engine 5, pretty much known and new mechanics that the Tekken 8 game will include are part of the inner layers of Bandai Namco's own assets. And it was evident with the looks of all the trailers we released so far, where you can notice subsurface scattering, skin shading, hair, and eyebrows all looking much better than Tekken 7. Nothing strange with each Tekken entry, by the way, and Tekken 8 seems that it will be not an exception where graphical improvement with each new game, it is evident and part of what is the offering. Of course, there can't be a King of Iron Fist Tournament 8 without the character roster. And now, let's discuss the character roster. Tekken has always introduced new fighters while bringing back fan favorites. We're excited to see who makes the cut in Tekken 8. And we will see the return of beloved characters like Jin Kazama, Kazuya Mishima, or Nina Williams. And who are the newcomers that will shake up for the tournament? Well, about newcomers, let's talk about them. First, we got Azucena, or her complete name is Azucena Milagros Ortiz Castillo, and she grew up in the mountains of Peru according to the Bandai Namco official lore, on the Ortiz family, where she learned the trade of coffee farming from her father. It was as a youngster growing up on the coffee plantation that she decided that her dream would be the best coffee farmer. Azucena experimented with cultivating different kinds of coffee plants, but her motivation were continually rejected by adults around her. Despite this, she continued her attempts until eventually a strain of her coffee beans was awarded the highest rating at an international trade fair. As well as dedicating herself to farming practices, Azucena also cultivated her martial arts, becoming a champion of mixed martial art practitioner and also successful model and dancer. She attended the best university in the country and studied business administration there. Azucena decided to use her martial arts to promote her own coffee brand and rose to the prominence in the American mixed martial arts scene, promoting her Azucena blend. Her business flourished as a result of the promotion, and the next step of her became an international secret. The King of Iron Fist tournament, the most popular international fighting tournament, caught her eye, and she intended to enter the tournament when it was announced. Next, we got Victor Chevalier. Victor Chevalier is a refined, suave man of elegance from an aristocratic background. He has been motivated ever since childhood by a desire to save those in need. He is thrifty and enjoys the alliances in romance, and is described as having a broken many hearts. From his voice lines, he appears to be someone with immeasurable self-confidence and small degrees of arrogance. He's a tactical-minded man, observing the trends of global politics and corporate rises in power and setting out the challenges of these threats. This is also attested by one of his hi-fi voice lines, "Shakemate." In the presentation, when Bandai Namco announced officially Victor Chevalier, it seems that he and Ravens, the Ravens from Tekken 5 by the way, has some history, and maybe there will be rivals at this time in Tekken 8. Finally, we got Reina. Reina is a mysterious girl who overwhelms those who confront her with lightning-fast skills. Everything about her is shrouded in mystery except that she is a high school student at the Mishima Polytechnical School. All this description that I gave from the newcomers of Tekken 8 are based on the official lore of Bandai Namco, and we are pretty much inbound for more information when the game releases. And finally, the rest and returning Tekken 8 roster includes Alisa Boskonovic, Asuka Kazama, Brian Fury, Claudio Cefarino, Devil Jin, Dragunov, Feng, Warren, my personal favorite, Jack 8, Jin Kazama, Yun Kazama, Kazuya Mishima, Kin, Kuma, Lars Alexanderson, Lee Shaolan, Leo, Leroy Smith, Lily, Lin Xiaoyu, Martial Law, Nina Williams, Panda, Paul Phoenix, Raven, Shaheen, Steve Fox, Yoshimitsu, and Safina. I will dive in a surprising return later, but I want to talk about the gameplay mechanics first. And of course, the gameplay mechanics are the heart of any fighting games. Tekken integrated system of juggling, counters, and combo has always set it apart. We're eager to see how Tekken 8 evolve the gameplay. Will there be new moves, new mechanics, or even revamped combo system? Well, Bandai Namco confirmed that Tekken 8 will feature 2 new mechanisms to the game and are named the Hit System and the Recovery Gauge. The Hit System replaced the Rage Arts that debuted on Tekken 7 as part of the Rage mechanic introduced on Tekken 6, and is indicated by a blue glow. This blue glow will be in effect for about 10 seconds, but attack, both hit and block, will cause the time to briefly pause. With this, inputs for the RayShark command have been made universal. No matter which character a player is using, the inputs are now down, forwards, and 2 punches. The hit system can be activated either through a hit burst or a hit engager. A hit burst will trigger the hit system on both hit and block and will leave the user at an advantageous frame in either scenario. And as for the recovery gauge, while it is a new feature, it's not exactly universal new mechanics, as the recovery gauge was kind of exclusive to the attack tournament and brought for the first time to a canon main title of Tekken. Basically, it is a mechanic that allows characters to regain portion of the lost health after attacking the opponent aggressively. Now, with that being said, and as I said earlier that I want to dive in a surprising return in the roster, I can now focus on the storyline and lore. Tekken's storyline and lore, of course, has been an integral part of the whole series. With each installment, we are delved deeper in the Mishima family feud and the world of the King of Iron Fist tournament. What a twists and turns will Tekken 8 bring to the table? Will it continue to explore the complex relationship and rivalries of its character? Well, I'm pretty much trying to still recovering of Heihachi Mishima's fate on Tekken 7, and I'm not entering the details, obviously, for avoiding spoilers. So far, what Bandai Namco and Tekken producer Kazuhiro Harada has mentioned that this new entry will focus on the father and son showdown between Kazuya Mishima and Jin Kazama. Harada has stated, and here we go with the surprising return in the roster, Tekken 8 is set 6 months after the Tekken 7 events and will feature Jun Kazama as a focal point of the story, returning since disappearing between the timeline of Tekken 2 and 3 after Ogre when looking for the Devil Jin on Jin. And while Tag Tournament is not considered canon, it was always speculated that the boss unknown in both games is an entity that has possessed Jun and kept her alive, young, and actively fighting. Later, in a press release, Bandai Namco Entertainment has stated the following. This latest saga begins where the previous title left off, with a war mired deep in the devastating war between Kazuya Mishima and Jin Kazama. After suffering what seems to be a defeat from Kazuya, Jin faces his own fate. His mother, Jun Kazama, appeared after her absence from the Tekken franchise to try and turn the tide in this blood feud. By the look of some trailers, it seemed that Jun also tried to confront Kazuya, and it remains to see which side Jun actually would take on, or if it's actually Jun trying to make a side of her own. Now, it is all about the fighting gaming community. It is a game where you should expect online and esport. Online play and esport have become increasingly important in the world of fighting games, and that's no doubt, there shouldn't be any doubt about it. So we can expect Tekken 8 to have a robust online features, matchmaking improvement, and support for the competitive scene. The Tekken World Tour has been a thrilling spectacle, and we hope to see it continue and expand, which actually make me miss First Attack Puerto Rico a month ago, as of the recording of this, where the Tekken World Tour was actually considering First Attack event as a stop in the Caribbean and in Puerto Rico. So I think that I should make some homework for next year, First Attack Puerto Rico 2024. But now, the main question naturally is, can we expect crossplay on Tekken 8? The answer is that producer Kazuhiro Harada has confirmed that indeed Tekken 8 will feature crossplay, allowing players to play on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC and play with each other. And actually, in a post of X, formerly known as Twitter, Harada did made aware that the fact that the crossplay was already in development for the past game Tekken 7, but Microsoft and Sony at the time were at odds about the concept, mainly Sony, which this actually be another topic for another day or another video, and pretty much ruined the plans for Tekken 7. I know that I shouldn't stretch about this because obviously the game will be released on January 26, 2024, but I should say that we can expect post-launch and support is crucial. But I believe that I can mention a little bit about DLC and post-launch support. Post-launch support is actually crucial for keeping a fighting game community engaged. We're curious about the DLC plans for Tekken 8, and while there are a lot of veterans with the Tekken roster that can have a new opportunity here that didn't have in the past game Tekken 7, We don't know yet about post-launch content and DLC as they're recording this. You can tell me in the comments what additional character stages or cosmetic will be offered, and what should be Bandai Namco focusing about regular updates and battles and patches to keep the game fresh? With that being said, and in conclusion, Tekken 8 is one of the most anticipated titles in the fighting game genre, and our expectations are sky high. We're excited to see how it builds upon the series' legacy and delivers an unforgettable gaming experience. And to me, obviously, has to be one of the most important chapters in the Tekken 8 history. Bandai Namco said that the Devil Jin saga practically ended on Tekken 7. Ironically, again, I'm not spoiling anything, but it is ironic that the Devil Jin saga ended, and it has to do more with Heihachi, which he never proved to have the Devil Jin, and actually it was Kazumi Mishima being the genesis of the Devil Jin, and why we got Jin and Kazuya being both devils in our war. But to actually make some speculation, what could we wait about Tekken 9? I think it's really be early to actually say something about Tekken 9. With the exception is that the Tekken 9 probable game, I think in the next 6 from 10 years from now, it will be a whole new concept. It will be a whole new storyline. I don't see how much the Mishima and Kazama conflict can be stretched any further. I think that maybe Bandai Namco should do the Mortal Kombat route where you have both soft and a subtle reboot, not abandoning the formula and not abandoning classical and OG players, but having some fresh air for the franchise. Hell, I'm up to see what Tekken 8 has in store for us. But to say that the next installment, Tekken 9, should have yet another chapter with Kazuya, Jin, Jun, and the whole Mishima Saibatsu saga, I think that it's pretty much to say that almost 30 years later, we are ready for the next main storyline. So, what are your expectations for Tekken 8? Let us know in the comment below if you're seeing this on YouTube. And actually, you can go and watch the video if you're listening to this on our podcast channel, audio only on Spotify, on all Anchor FM networks that include Overcast, Radio Public, Apple Podcasts, and everything else. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to stay updated on all things gaming, including Tekken. And yes, I'm going to be doing some content on both Tekken 7 and 8 because I still have some to-dos also in Tekken 7. Without anything else, thank you so much for watching and listening. This was GeeZus from GeeZus Gaming Podcast. Have a good one, health, and success.